Oh, how about this? College freshman Scott Damerow, Larry, set a new world record by using his head to bust 142 eggs, and he now officially holds a place in the Guinness Book of fucking retards. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Why are these dirty?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is something exciting. Our next guest made his stand-up debut. I did not remember that. This man began his television stand-up debut with us 25 years ago.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Very talented actor. Nobody funnier. Ladies and gentlemen, Norm MacDonald.
Thanks, guys. Listen, I don't want to brag or anything, but me and Oprah are making the same money tonight. But the show has loosened up considerably. I noticed I was watching Oprah and Dave talking about weed and booze. And I don't do either of those. The hardest drug I ever did, LSD. And I remember I was a kid, I was like 16, and I remember they warned me, they said, hey, you gotta be careful with that LSD on account of you can get a flashback. 10 years can go by, 20 years, 30 years, and a flashback will happen. So I thought, hey, that seems like a good deal. You tell me I buy a drug for $5, I eat it, I get high, and then 20 years later I get high again? That's not the point. I like to stretch my drug dollar. The point is this. 10 years have passed, 20 years have passed, 30 years have passed, and no flashbacks. What a gyp that turned out to be. Just more horse shit by the big acid companies, that's all it is. But I can't believe it's been a quarter century since I made my television debut. It was all different back then. You know, it was back then, I remember if you wanted to take a picture, you would use a camera, not a telephone. As a matter of fact, if you used a telephone, people would look at you odd. Give it like. Just stay still like that. What about in the old days when they took pictures of you way back, you know, where they pulled that thing and exploded and stuff? I got a picture of my great-grandfather. The thing took 6 hours to take your picture, and there's a picture of my great-grandfather, one. They only had, every guy had one picture back then. And it's just him like... I gotta get back, feed them hogs. Who's gonna feed the hogs? Somebody gotta feed them hogs. Now, in the future, of course, it'll be different. 50 years from now, people will be going like, hey, you want to see 100,000 pictures of my great-grandfather? I got him right here, plus everything he did every day of his life. Hey, this occurred to me today. ID, which I had to show it again. There's a strange abbreviation when you think about it. I is short for I. And then D is short for dentification. They could have split that one up a little better, you know? But I watch the TV, I watch the news, make you afraid, the news, you know? Put all these stories on, Iraq, Iran, North Korea, you know, try to scare you, you know? But does it ever really scare you? Like, you ever wake up in the middle of the night, North Korea! That little tiny country across the ocean. I wonder if they'll get me. Plus, didn't MASH settle that like 20 years ago? Why'd I have to watch that stupid show? There is one country that worries me, though. Not Iraq, not Iran, not North Korea. The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but in the early part of the previous century, Germany decided to go to war. And who did they go to war with? The world. It had never been tried before. And so you figure that would take about 5 seconds for the world to win, but no, it was actually close. Then about 30 years pass, and Germany decides again to go to war, and again it chooses as its enemy the world. And this time they have that guy, Schrankly, Crankly, that guy, and I'm not even going to dignify him by saying his name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. But you'd think at that point the world will go, listen, Germany, here's the deal. You don't get to be a country no more on account of you keep attacking the world.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy. Oh, 9/11. Yeah, no. Oh, don't laugh at 9/11 again. I tried to tell him not to laugh. Adam. I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada.
Listen, Bill Cosby, first of all, is my hero ever since I was a kid, because I always wanted to be like him, and I got his albums, tried to emulate him, but I didn't like his stand-up, but I like the way he was as a man. Because this was before, they didn't say he was a rapist on the fucking liner notes of the albums, you know? As my buddy said, he said, the worst part about Cosby was he was a hypocrite. And I said, I don't think that was the worst part. To me, the worst part was the raping. Way up high. And then the second would be the drugging. And then the third would be the scheming. But anyways, hypocrisy would be way fucking down the line, you know, like on the 4th page or some shit. Like, I'm no expert, but I think probably most rapists are hypocrites. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of guys go, I like to rape. I don't give a fuck. I know it's not a politically correct thing to say, but I like raping. I go, God damn, at least he's not a hypocrite. That's the worst. That's the worst part of it. But he, imagine you're a girl. Some of you will be easier. No, imagine you're a girl, you're in a gift shop in Vegas or some shit, go, I'm going to buy this snow globe for my, it's the most famous guy ever, Cosby, you know, Cosby's there, and he's like, you want to go to my room? It's the biggest room ever. And so you go, yeah, of course I want to go to your room. Biggest star ever, biggest room ever, what the fuck? You don't even have to be a girl, you fucking go. And then you go up and then you're like, fuck, look at this. I've never seen, and he's like, you want a glass of water? You go, yes, that would be nice. And then you go, why is it purple? Why is it fizzing? Like in a monster movie. Just drink it. It's famous people water. And I drink it, and everything goes fucking crazy and shit. And they come out of it, they're like, what the fuck? I was just in the gift shop. What is that? Cosby cock? I can swear that's a Cosby cock. That's impossible. A Cosby cock? Why would there be a Cosby cock in my face? Wait a second, I remember. I'll call for help. Hypocrisy! A man committed hypocrisy on me in room 10304-204. There's too many numbers in the hotel room.
In my opinion, if you're going to fight the war on terror, a good place to start would be this nation's haunted houses.
I've never asked you this before, and we've been good friends for many years.
Ah.
Okay, I made that up. But
No. We haven't?
no, we're friends. We're good friends. But I don't know what your... MacDonald, is that Irish? Is that Scottish? What's your ethnic background?
My ethnic background is Polish.
Are you really Polish? Wow.
Polish people,
I didn't
yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
MacDonald, you don't...
Well, my parents changed their names. They
Right.
had to because of the constant ribbing they'd get for being Polish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they changed their name to MacDonald. But, you know, it's one of the things that you can, you know, I mean, I get a little upset about it, you know. Because, you know, you
All the
can't...
Polish jokes and
Yeah,
stuff.
you can't make jokes about other people, but for some reason you make jokes about Polish people, you know.
Right, right.
I don't like it.
All right. You shouldn't. That sounds bad, yeah.
I mean, I had an experience, you know. I go in and I order a Polish sausage, you know, from this guy, you know. And so the guy says to me, you must be Polish. And I said, come on, man. I mean, come on. Think about it, what you're saying. You know, I'm trying to knock some sense into this fellow's head, maybe give him a wider world view, you know?
Sure, yeah.
I said, you think because I order a Polish sausage, I'm Polish. I said, what if somebody came in here and ordered French toast? Would you think he was French, you know?
Right.
I mean, what if somebody came in here and ordered a Belgian waffle? Would you consider that guy a Belgian, you know? I mean, if a guy came in and ordered a German bratwurst, would you consider that fella to be a German fella?
Right,
I said, what if a guy came in and ordered German potato salad? I suppose you'd think he was German too. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? What if a guy...
Wow, you talked to this guy for a while.
I'm telling you, man. With racists, you have to get through
You have to
them.
really get it into their head. Right.
I said, if a guy came in and he ordered a Cuban hamburger, are you going to assume he's a Cuban?
Right.
I said, I think it is absolutely ridiculous that just because I come in here, I order a Polish sausage, why would you jump to the fact that I'm Polish?
Right.
And the guy says to me, well, first of all, it's a hardware store.
And you hate Polish jokes, don't you? You just hate them.
No, I think they're disgusting. What are you, retarded? So I know you're not retarded, but what are you, Down syndrome? A new study found that men with beards are more attractive than men without beards. More great work from the University of Bob Seger. Lama said that killing in the name of religion is unthinkable. Hey, thanks, Dalai Lama. I'm sure everybody will fucking listen to you. No one listens to the Dalai Lama.
No one.
This guy's a real jerk. Why did the moron throw the clock out the window?
Why?
Because it reminded him of Richard Clock, the man convicted of knife raping his wife. Good God Almighty.
You know,
Jesus.
it used to be all right.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that one was coming. This guy's a real jerk.
I would guess that one of the good things about this, you had some time off. Have you taken some vacation? Have you gone anywhere, traveled?
Yeah, I went. I wanted to get away from all the showbiz, crazy showbiz.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd go on a vacation, you know.
Great.
And I don't.
like to go to hotels because all my years of doing my nightclub act, I don't like hotels.
Yeah.
So I decide I'll go, you know, my buddy tells me, he goes, hey, you should go to one of them bed and breakfasts. You ever hear tell of them?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. The idea is you go there, it's a guy's house, and you live in his room, and then he makes you some breakfast.
Right. Very yeah.
It's a thumbnail, you
Yeah,
know.
that's it, sure.
So I looked one up on the internet there, and I found one. I went to Vancouver Island, Victoria, which is beautiful.
Lovely,
Oh, my
yeah.
God, it's God's little country. And so I go there, and I look up my place where I'm supposed to go. I have it on a little piece of paper, and I knock on the door, right? And there's no answer. So I knock again, and there's still no answer. So finally, I look like in the window there, and there's an old man sleeping on a couch, you know?
Yeah.
So I bang on the door, ringing the doorbell, you know? So finally I hear like, hey, keep your pants on there, you know, from the inside. And he comes to the door, old guy, you know, but I'd say 80, 85 years old. Old Harold Delaney was his name.
Harold Delaney.
Yeah, nice enough gentleman, you know. And so I get in there and I says, well, I better go to sleep. There's no one else there, you know. Like, I thought it'd be like a whole bunch of people in different rooms, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just me.
Yeah.
So I go up and I go to sleep, and I'm ready to go to sleep, and a knock comes on the door, right? A knock on my bedroom door.
Right.
So I figure, uh-oh, old Harold Delaney wants to have sex with me there. You know?
That's the first thought that went through your mind, huh?
Well, I'm a young fella.
Yeah,
These days,
yeah,
anything
not a
goes.
bad-looking guy, sure, yeah.
I'm not a...
Traveling alone, why
Sure.
not?
And, of course, I didn't come to Victoria to have sex with old Harold Delaney, you know? I came to do some sightseeing.
Of course.
Yeah. So then I hear him, he goes, well, you ought to play some Scrabble.
Oh, Scrabble.
Yeah, so I say, okay, that's good.
Sure.
I'll play some Scrabble. So I go down, and he pulls out this old Scrabble game there, and we start to play, you know, and I like Scrabble, you know. So I get the first turn, you know, because I picked the lower letter, and so I get the first turn. So I make rabbit, you know.
Pretty good.
It's a good word. And then I do it pretty quick. I take like a couple of minutes. And then old Harold Delaney, he takes like a half hour to like get his word. And the whole time he's not talking, he's not telling me old stories, 'cause I like hearing old stories, you know. And instead, it was like for a half hour, it was just Harold Delaney going. So then after a half an hour of that, you know, I'm just sitting there, he comes up with his word, it's hat. That's his word, yeah, hat. So he puts it, and he takes the word hat, and then he puts it like way in the corner on that triple letter score.
Right.
The triple word, the red one
Right.
that you want to get to.
Yeah, sure.
But you can't just put it there.
No, it's got to have some relation to rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to move up there, you know, and finally get to there. But instead, he just puts it right there.
Oh, no.
So I go, all right, you know. And so then it's my turn, you know, I do something, and quickly, and then again, the same thing, like, you know, and then time going by, and then every word, and I was coming up with good words, you know, I had sleigh, you know, a sleigh ride, and avocado.
Whoa.
It was a 7-letter word.
Yep.
You get 50 extra points. I'm still way behind him.
He's just freelancing the board.
Yeah. Yes. And so finally I decided I'm gonna I gotta say something, you know? So and all his words were like cup and hat, and I think it was just like things he'd see around the room, you know? And so I'm playing excellently. I should be in the lead, but instead I'm like 1,000 points behind. And finally, like, I gotta say something, you know? So he puts boot, you know, up on this triple, and it really annoyed me because I was building towards the triple letter. And he just puts boot, and so I said, finally, I gotta say something here. And I go, hey, old Harold Delaney there, I don't know, you can't put boot there. And then he goes, you never heard tell of a boot? So I go, no, I know what a boot is. I'm just saying. He goes, if a fella goes out there, has to wear a boot. So I go, no, I know what I made avocado. I know a boot. You know? And it just took him forever. And I think, and also I noticed a weird thing. There were no blanks. You know how you have the blanks in the game, and it's always good to use any letter, right? Yeah. I realized there's no blanks in this game, and I figured old Harold Delaney must have, when he got the game, figured, what the hell is that, you know, and thrown it away.
Can't use it.
Yeah.
Now, how was the breakfast? Did you have the breakfast?
There was no breakfast. I got up the next day. I was so hungry from playing Scrabble all night. So he says, hey, Harold, how you doing there? How about some breakfast? And he goes, I've never been much for breakfast. So I go, oh, all right. So I go, I guess I'll go down to McDonald's and pick up some breakfast or something, Harold. And he goes, can you get me an egg McMuffin? It's crazy.
You know the funniest part of doing an office conga line? When you look back and realize you're doing it alone and you're not in an office, you're in a psychiatric hospital. I know the Bible says not to covet thy neighbor's wife.
Right.
But it doesn't say a damn thing about coveting thy neighbor's husband, especially a sweet, hot fucking asshole. A real jerk.
Have you ever done anything in your long and storied career that you consider specifically to be in bad taste as you look back on it? Maybe at the time you thought it was a good play, but you look back on it and you think that was in bad taste.
Well, sometimes, like in stand-up, I'll do jokes that are, like one time I was doing this thing in San Francisco and they were all gay people in the audience, they told me. So I figured I'll do...
In San Francisco?
Yeah.
No.
So I figured I'd do stuff about gay people so that they could relate to it.
Yeah, it's warm up. Right. They love that.
And so I was talking about, because I went to this gay pride parade, and I saw in it there were these old men and old ladies like with these signs that said, we are proud of our gay son, you know? And so I was saying, that's an odd thing to be proud of, you know, because it's not an achievement, you know? It's not like something you work all your life to be gay or anything like that. And I just wondered, I had a hard time believing that these 50, 60-year-old men are actually bragging, you know, at work like they're, hey, Bill, you know, my kid, oh my God, we're proud of him, Johnny. He graduated from Harvard, you know, a first in his class, you know what I mean? Now he's articling over at a law firm, and, oh yeah, he loves cock. You know? This kid. He can't get enough cock in his mouth, his ass, his kid's always cock. I got a picture of the boy here sucking another man's cock. I want to show it to you.
To watch the maturation of you as an artist, to realize it took you 9.5 minutes to get around to the sucking cock stuff.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here, you know, and I was asked to host the ESPYs this year. Yeah, hi, that's my name, Espen. When I was asked to host the ESPYs this year, folks, I said yes immediately for one reason and one reason only. This show has interns. I'll be having little improper relations backstage a little later. But man, it's great to be here at the 6th annual ESPY Awards. Hard to believe, huh, that the ESPYs are 6 years old. Although Anthony Mason swears they're 18. So... yeah, he'll be having sex with the ESPYs in about 12 years, so...
I wanted to talk about the crocodile hunter. Did you? Because I think... Yeah, you're going to make him sad. Because I think, you know, it was tragic at the time, but I think... I don't know, people calling me, man, they're shocked. Oh, hey, you wouldn't believe it, who got killed? The crocodile hunter. Please don't make me laugh at this. They were like, he was 44 years old. I'm like, that's a ripe old age for a crocodile hunter. That's not... And you know who had to be pissed about it were the crocodiles, because he got killed by some fruity fish. And so you know the crocodiles were like, hey man, that crocodile hunter got killed. Who did it, Frank? You don't even want to know, man. Please don't do this anymore. Go, Bill, man, you had a chance. When the guy go, man, I had a chance. I had that mother. He was Tommy with a stick. I could have eat him and his kid. I don't feel good about this. You remember I ever tell you that story, Bill? Yeah, only 1,000 times. That's for the kids.
I was a little late here tonight. I took a cab to the theater, folks. And I don't know if you've ever been in these New York City cabs, but I got one of those cabbies, couldn't speak English, you know. Saw his name there on the dash. I couldn't even pronounce it. I think it was something like Hideki Arabu. Something like that. Arabu's been having some trouble, man. They fired his translator. Steinbrenner fired his translator. And people see that as cruel, you know, but I don't know, you know. I mean, if you're not doing well in Yankee Stadium, you know, do you really need a translator? Do you want that, you know? You know? Hey, what'd they say? They say you suck. You should go back to Japan, you dirty foreigner. Okay, I got it. I'm trying to pitch over here. It's great to be here on ESPN. I love sports, man. Man, you can see sports on ESPN you don't see on other networks. You know, like kickboxing. That's my favorite sport. Kickboxing is great. When you think about it, it combines the style and grace of boxing with kicking. This seems kind of immature. Two 23-year-old women in China this week have set a record, living 12 days in a room with 888 deadly snakes. They now hold a coveted place, in the Guinness Book of World Retard. Just backstage, a lot of celebrities back there, man. I was talking to Jerry Jones, you know, the Cowboys owner, and he's disappointed, obviously. Yeah. Well, he's a good guy, though, man. He's talking about rebuilding the team, you know, and he told me, he says, we have to get back to what made us a championship team. Strippers and crack. Hey, have you heard about this? Ted Turner and NBC plan to start their own rival football league to compete with the NFL. And not much known about the specifics of this new league, except for this, it will suck. They know that. So they might have trouble, you know, getting advertisers when we know it will suck.
I've never asked you this before, and we've been good friends for many years.
Ah.
Okay, I made that up, but...
No. We haven't?
No, we're friends. We're good friends, but I don't know what your... MacDonald, is that Irish? Is that Scottish? What's your ethnic background?
My ethnic background is Polish.
Are you really Polish? Wow.
Polish people,
I didn't
yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
MacDonald, you don't...
Well, my parents changed their names. They
Right.
had to because of the constant ribbing they'd get for being Polish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they changed their name to MacDonald. But, you know, it's one of the things that you can, you know, I mean, I get a little upset about it, you know. Because, you know,
All
you
the
can't...
Polish jokes and
Yeah,
stuff.
you can't make jokes about other people, but for some reason you make jokes about Polish people, you know?
Right, right.
I don't like it.
Right. You shouldn't. That sounds bad, yeah.
I mean, I had an experience, you know. I go in and I order a Polish sausage, you know, from this guy, you know. And so the guy says to me, you must be Polish. And I said, come on, man. I mean, come on. Think about it, what you're saying. You know, I'm trying to knock some sense into this fellow's head, maybe give him a wider world view, you know?
Sure, yeah.
I said, you think because I order a Polish sausage, I'm Polish. I said, what if somebody came in here and ordered French toast? Would you think he was French, you know?
Right.
I mean, what if somebody came in here and ordered a Belgian waffle? Would you consider that guy a Belgian, you know? I mean, if a guy came in and ordered a German bratwurst, would you consider that fellow to be a German fella?
Right.
I said, what if a guy came in and ordered German potato salad? I suppose you'd think he was German too. Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, what if a guy...
Wow, you talked to this guy for a while.
I'm telling you, man. With racists, you have to get through to them.
You have to really get it into their head. Right.
I said, if a guy came in and he ordered a Cuban hamburger, are you going to assume he's a Cuban?
Right.
I said, I think it is absolutely ridiculous
that just because I come in here, I order a Polish sausage, why would you jump to the fact that I'm Polish?
Right.
And the guy says to me, well, first of all, it's a hardware store.
And you hate Polish jokes, don't you? You just hate them.
No, I think they're disgusting.
And of course, congratulations to the Denver Broncos for winning the Super Bowl. How about that? Yeah, Denver did great, you know. There he is. I love the Denver fans, you know, because for one thing, they don't wear food on their heads. That's nice. And they had a wild celebration in Denver after that Super Bowl, man. And now city officials expect an even wilder celebration if the Nuggets win 10 games this year. They say they're gonna say the whole city's gonna go nuts. Yeah, the Nuggets are having a bad year this year, man. Matter of fact, they're making a film about the team. They got a pretty catchy title. It's Black Men Can't Jump Either. Well, NBA All-Star Weekend over. That was exciting, man. The East beat the West. Jeff Hornacek won the three-point shootout. Houston's Clyde Drexler and Cynthia Cooper won that exciting two-ball thing. And Charles Barkley won the throw a guy through a plate glass window contest. So that was quite a game, you know. I mean, you know who impressed me the most yesterday was Kobe Bryant. Unbelievable. This guy's amazing. 19 years old, the youngest starter ever in the All-Star game, and he played so well that today he was named spokesman for NBC's new public service campaign called Screw It, Who Needs College?
No,
You think Jack Benny is funny?
I don't even know. No, I don't really know any of his shit.
You've seen him, though. Like, when you...
I saw him on Byron Allen. No,
Comics Unleashed? Here's the thing Byron Allen has. A show called The Entertainers. And what he does so he'll go to junkets.
Right.
And then he has huge guests. So it'll be like, at the beginning, it'll be his voice. The Entertainers. Tonight, Harrison Ford, Adam Sandler, Morgan Freeman. You know, it's the biggest stars ever. And he just interviews them in the junkets, but he makes it sound as if, and then this is his gambit. This is what he does to people. So let's say he's talking to Harrison Ford, right? He'll go, now the last time I talked to you, you were talking about working out. And so then Harrison Ford goes, like he's never talked to him before or anything, but he figures a black guy, it's going to sound bad. He says, I know, who the fuck are you? So he goes, yes, I'm
he's just making up like...
This looks like he's best friends with all these viewers.
I'd hate to go and see him one night and go, boy, he reminds me of young Byron Allen. He's brilliant, Byron Allen. He had that Comics Unleashed. Mm-hmm. You ever do that? Mm-hmm. Oh, you couldn't be more leashed.
Yeah, it's not like, there's nothing unleashed about it. It's not like you would have like Lenny Bruce on and like...
And he has no segue. So this is what he said to John Lovitz one time. He said, he just turned to him from, he's talking to Schimmel, and then he goes to John Lovitz. He goes, now, John, I understand you're growing older. Of course, the biggest story in basketball, no question about it, Michael Jordan may retire. Yeah, Michael Jordan may retire after this season, and it's terrible news for Bull fans, you know, but it is terrific news for golf hustlers. They're happy about it. But Jordan is very serious, though, about leaving. In fact, he's already called the Hall of Fame to make sure that his plaque bears his basketball nickname, Air Jordan, and not his baseball nickname, Senior Crappy. That would just be disrespectful, you know? Well, how about them Winter Olympics? They're finally underway, so we've got a lot of great stuff to look forward to the next 2 weeks, like hockey and
Well, just hockey, really. I was watching last night. I saw speed skating, and my goodness, you know, could the outfits they wear be any tighter? Holy Lord! There was an East German woman. I swear you could see the outline of her entire penis. It was. Goodness. Well, the magazine POV came out this week with a list of the best and worst jobs to have in the next century. Their 3 best were, in this order, multimedia software designer, management consultant, and interactive advertising executive. While their worst, for the 3rd year in a row, crack whore. U.S. News and World Report's list of the best and worst jobs for 1996 is out. Last year's best job, multimedia software consultant, was replaced by a new best job, bioindustrial engineer. And in the worst job category, last year's winner, crack whore, has lost its spot. The new worst job is assistant crack whore. Well, there's all kinds of sports celebrities in the audience tonight. I see Tiger Woods right there. Tiger Woods, how about that, huh? Yeah, he's up for golf. Of course, he's up for Golfer of the Year this ESPYs. And you know who I feel sorry for, folks? Is the other 2 guys nominated for Golfer of the Year. You see these guys getting ready, you know, it's like, hey, honey, have you seen my tuxedo? No, not the good one. The one I wear when I'm going to get my ass kicked. Have you seen that one? Boomer Esiason is with us. Boomer. How you doing, buddy? Boomer, of course, will replace Frank Gifford on Monday Night Football next season. And Frank told reporters that this will allow him to spend more time with his wife and children. Then he broke down and cried for 45 minutes. So. And there's Charles Woodson. How about that? What a season he had. Great, man. He became the first defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. And congratulations, Charles. That is something that no one can ever take away from you. Unless you kill your wife and a waiter, in which case... all bets are off. It's a word of advice.
The iron horse of broadcasting.
It's iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
That's what everybody tells me.
It's the iron horse. Like Lou Gehrig was the iron horse of baseball.
Yes.
The word I-R-O-N is iron. No, iron.
Iron.
That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
Yeah.
You know, right? Sure.
It is the
Because
toughest language.
To
me,
learn.
it's the easiest.
Yeah, well, you were born with it.
Yeah. Say what you want about how huge and fat my head has gotten, but forget it.
Try iron. Why doesn't that clock work?
Why doesn't that cock work?
That
No,
clock
it's,
works.
my clock works.
Oh, this
fine.
clock
Your
over here.
Your mind is going somewhere, Norm.
No, I thought that's what you said.
I heard you had Larry King on here.
Cast
Your
iron.
show that's amazing, by the way. No one gets on Larry King. Larry King gets you.
I know you're new to this. I'm going to teach you a little something. One of the first things in hosting an interview show is to listen.
What's that now?
The answer given by the guest. My whole motto, my whole broadcasting career, that's why I don't like a lot of guys on the air now, is that I never learned anything when I was talking.
Can I interrupt you there?
Yeah. But
Now, I wanna ask you
I was
this.
with Carlos Slim all day today, the richest man in the world. He's partnering.
The richest man in the world is Carlos Slim?
Correct, from Mexico. You never heard of him?
Of course not. I'm not a connected guy.
Oh, that's right. I just heard you. You don't watch the news.
So Carlos Slim
is a terrific guy.
And this guy is working with you on Aura TV.
He financed it.
He financed it. The richest man in the world.
$76 billion.
We should get together with this Carlos Slim.
Seems like a good guy.
I just had a meeting with some lady, said she had a lot of money, Fat Nancy.
Oh, Fat Nancy. And what, she want to finance something with you? What does she want to do with you?
You know what? So I loved Liberace, but with all due respect, man, if you kicked that guy in the ass, 100 cocks would fall out. Now, this is not what I do on Hulu.
No, you wouldn't do that.
No. Because I have respect for Carlos Slim. Literally selling you death.
That's the one thing I fear is dying.
Man, that haunts me.
Because the thought of not existing, you know, it's like, you know what the new thing they call it is? Dirt nap.
Good God, Larry.
That's what they call it, a dirt nap.
You would not say that on Hulu.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I'd say it here.
That's what I heard Larry King say to a guy once. What? The guy had lost his child. Oh, no. And Larry King goes, Paul Newman told me, you never get over it. It's like some unfeeling psychotic. So then people go, well, who do you want? Well, there's that one comedian. She's a comedian, and she's also a lady.
Yeah.
And then it gets...
It's more common now.
Huh? It's common now.
SNL is very...
They rule.
They rule the SNL.
Look, who is bigger than Tina Fey?
She's strong.
Too big to fail. Finally, according to the U.S. News and World Report 1997 Career Guide, the best job in the United States for the second year in a row is Interactive Business System Analyst. However, last year's worst job, Assistant Crack Whore, has been replaced by a new worst job, Crack Whore Trainee.
Hello, everybody. Here with Norm MacDonald, chewing the fat. Where do you live here, of course, in the city, because you're doing the show.
I live in New York City.
Yeah. This isn't a police interrogation. Are you sure? Where about? Where in the city do you live, approximately, not specifically? But...
I live at 56 between 8th and Broadway.
Okay, and what's your phone number? Just give me 7 digits. All right. What, your neighbors nice people? The people that live around you?
Great people. Every day I meet somebody new, you know. This city's great because of the neighborly people, you know. I don't know. But I did meet one neighbor, interesting story, you know, that this guy, he just moved in, you know, next door to me. So I'm always one to meet the neighbors.
You like to chat with the neighbors,
yeah, because, you know, so I went over to the guy, I knocked on the door next door to where I live, and I say to the guy, I said, hey, I'm your new neighbor, you know, and I said, good to see you, you know, nice to run into you, you know, welcome to the neighborhood, you know. And so the guy, I said, what do you do for a living there, sir, you know, if you don't mind me asking? You know, what do you do for a living? I'm a nightclub comic, I tell the guy. So he says to me, he says, I work down at the University of Science there. He says, that's
a good school, by the way.
I can't remember the exact place.
Sure.
But he says, I'm a professor of logic.
Oh.
So he says to the guy, he says, logic. Now, what the hell is that? I never heard tell of that. He says, oh, well, he says it's a kind of a pattern of syllogistic. Well, he says it's hard to explain. He says, why don't I give you an example? So I said, fair enough. Why don't you do that? So the guy says, well, he says, let me ask you a question. He says, do you own a doghouse? So I go, yes, I do. He says, well, then that means you probably have a dog. I said, yes. He says, well, that means you're likely you have a family if you have a dog. I said, yes, I do. He said, well, then that means you got kids, you're married? I said, yes, I am. He says, well, then you're a heterosexual man. I said, yes, sir, I am. He says, well, you see, that's logic there.
I asked if simply from finding out you had a doghouse, I made this series of inferences, and I found that you're a heterosexual man simply from the fact that you had a doghouse. Well, I said, good God, isn't that something?
Okay.
So I said, well, I won't waste any more of your time there, neighbor. And I said, I'll see you later.
See you around. Okay.
So I said, come by one day and have a chicken with me. So anyways, I left. So I left. So I go to get a bus, you know, to the bus stop. And I walk down to the bus stop, and I'm still thinking about this thing that happened to me, you know. And I'm standing at the bus, and no bus coming at all, you know, and 5 or 6 of us standing around, and one guy lights up a cigarette there, and he goes, as soon as you light up a cigarette, the bus comes. And he smokes the whole damn cigarette, no bus comes.
Right.
So I said to the guy, well, that theory really worked, huh? And the guy goes, well, sometimes it works. Anyways, the guy goes, what's new with you? I go, well, I had an interesting thing happen to me today. I said, I met my neighbor. And he goes, oh, yeah? I go, he had a hell of an interesting job. I said, he's a professor of logic down at the University of
Science.
And so the guy says, is that so? He says, professor of logic. He goes, what the hell is that, logic? I said, well, it's a series of Scylla something or other.
Right.
I said, I can't remember exactly, but I said, I'll give you an example if you want to hear an example. So the guy goes, all right, fair enough. So I said, let me ask you this. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you own a doghouse? And the guy goes, no, I don't own a doghouse. So the guy says, oh, yeah, you're one of them gays.
And it worked, right? What great stuff you can learn at
Yeah, it was nice.
University of Science there.
And then the guy, get this. Get this.
There's more.
This gay guy
Yeah.
invites me to have a chicken at his place.
That's some kind of euphemism.
Yeah,
Watch out.
The new people. Hey, guess what? There's a young girl that's middling attractive that swears a lot. Let's get her. What? Is that the new fucking thing?
Yeah.
Sarah Silverman, hysterical.
Right.
Who's funnier than her?
Nobody.
No, except dudes. But,
Nobody.
and we're going to read jokes. We read jokes.
I thought you were going to talk about this thing.
We're going to talk about the man. What about the man great?
Is that like a genital cleanser?
No! No, my God. What is the man great, you ask?
Okay.
Huh?
Fine. I didn't, but...
You didn't ask. It is 100% made in America. Cast iron grilling grates.
Iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
That's what everybody tells me.
It's the iron horse. Like Lou Gehrig was the iron horse of baseball.
Yes.
The word I-R-O-N is iron. No, iron.
Cast iron.
Iron?
Cast iron grilling grates that
Are
are
you kidding when you say iron?
You know what? Don't be like fucking Larry King. That motherfucker, I say iron and he's up my asshole for fucking 4 days.
It should be iron. That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
Yeah.
You know, right? Sure.
It is the
Because
toughest language.
to
To me,
learn.
it's the easiest. Man great. Great. Have you heard of the man great?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear about it?
On Adam Carolla's podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Do you have a father? Man great is the perfect gift for this Father's Day. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% made in America. If he was dead, it would have been a really bad moment in the commercial. Your dad's alive?
No.
Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry about your dad.
That's fine.
Your father's dead. But you have children. You are a father.
Yes, and I'm not dead.
Yes.
Maybe you'll give me one. And
I'll give you one. Is your mom still alive?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, she's dead.
Jesus Christ, is any of your relatives fucking alive? Is man great? They're revolutionizing the way people grill. What, Adam Egan? It's true. You haven't heard of the revolution? You can put chicken on this or steak. That's not that unique. It has heavy duty grilling grates. Why are you laughing? You think the grilling grates are flimsy?
These are very heavy.
Yes, no, but that's part of the charm. It weighs a lot of pounds.
Is that heavy?
Yeah. Listen, man, what was that fucking Vegas story?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
What is in that?
Again. It's revolutionizing the way people grill.
Jesus.
What?
I thought it was like a, all right.
You want to hear what it has?
Yeah.
It has heavy-duty grilling grates. Listen. No more dry meat. What do you think of that?
Good. You want your meat juicy.
Oh, come on now. Don't make it sound like a fucking fat, plumpy, delicious cock. No more flare-ups. You know, in your barbecues, all those big flare-ups. It was named one of 2012's best grilling accessories. There's more fucking facts about the man grate than about Nick. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the man grate. Chicken, steak, has never tasted so good. Hey, how about this? Each NORM MACDONALD show order comes with a heavy-duty grilling brush.
Jesus.
You don't want to put that on your not dry meat.
Look at that. Those things are dirty.
No.
That's from the iron.
Are you sure?
Yes. Well, it's not from my cock.
What?
I just went to the bathroom. You say cock so much.
I'm coming in your butt.
Oh my God. Well, listen, man. Hey,
Your mouth is my toilet.
again. This commercial is like a mini-series. Are you a jingoist? 100% made in America. 100% cast iron. Mangrate.com. Thank you, Andy. That's yours. You just threw your own going away present with contempt to the floor. That was our only sponsor.
Oh, yeah, and you lost.
Yeah, now we found out we lost Mangrate as a sponsor. And then earlier today, I think we were told legally we can't say we lost them as a sponsor even.
Yeah, I think we were still waiting to find out if we were allowed to say that.
But anyways,
Fuck
that
it,
was
who cares?
Schwartzen.
We lost them.
That was Nick Schwartzen that fucked it all up. Some gold-plated chains would make a nice retirement gift for a very, very good slave. Well,
Are you serious?
Well, this was written.
Are you serious?
This was written years
Did
ago.
you just write that?
I didn't write it.
Did you just say that?
No, I read it. Yes.
You read that?
It was an old. This Lindsay Lohan can't swim a stroke, but she sure knows every dive in town.
That one I liked. That was my favorite. I'm keeping this.
That is a favorite.
Las Vegas is now home to a 550-foot-tall Ferris wheel. Also drawing thousands to Las Vegas, whores. That's you. That's your voice all the way right there. It's the old the Norm MacDonald lean in. Whores.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norm MacDonald.
You're very kind. You know, in the, what's that? Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is my name. You know, when the people here asked me to do the show, you know, I gotta say, I felt kind of weird, you know. I don't know if you remember this, but I used to actually be on this show, you know. I used to do the weekend update news routine. You remember that? And yeah, that's where I did the make-believe news jokes. You know, that was me, right? So then, a year and a half ago, right, I had a sort of a disagreement with the management at the NBC. I wanted to keep my job, right? And they felt the exact opposite. So you see, they fired me because they said that I wasn't funny, you know? Now with most jobs, I could have had a hell of a lawsuit on my hands for that, but see, this is a comedy show. So they got me, you know what? You know what? But now, this is the weird part, right? It's only a year and a half later, and now they asked me to host the show. So I wondered, I go, hey, wait a second here. Hey! I go, how did I go in a year and a half from being not funny enough to be even allowed in the building to being so funny that I'm now hosting the show? How did I suddenly get so damn funny? It was inexplicable to me, because a year and a half, let's face it, is not enough time for a dude to learn how to be funny. Then it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later. But okay, so let's recap. The bad news is, I'm still not funny. The good news is, the show blows. All right, folks, we got a bad show for you tonight. Dr. Dre, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Eminem are here. We'll be right back. The next time I watch a WNBA game will be the first time I watch a WNBA game.
A lot of people talk about stand-up comedy nowadays. To say the art form has become very popular over the last 5 years would be an understatement. However, if you talk about stand-up comedy long enough, there is one name that is bound to come up through sheer tyranny of will. His name is
Norm MacDonald.
Norm MacDonald.
Norm MacDonald. Norm MacDonald.
Who is Norm MacDonald? Some people describe him as the most unique comedic voice of all time, but if you ask Norm to talk about himself, he'd adamantly proclaim he's just an old chunk of coal. By the end of this video, you will know exactly who Norm MacDonald is, where he came from, some of the amazing work he's done, and what makes his style of comedy so unique. This is Norm MacDonald, the greatest comedian to ever live. On October 17, 1959, Norman Jean MacDonald was born in Quebec City within Quebec, Canada. His father, who owned a doghouse, was Percy MacDonald, and his mother was Fern MacDonald. He also had an older brother named Neil MacDonald, who was born 2 years before him. Both of his parents worked as real heroes, and by that I mean they were English teachers. Norm attended Quebec High School when he was a young man until his family moved to Ottawa, Ontario. It was at this time he transferred to Gloucester High School. Norm has claimed that he dropped out of high school at 16 years old, but he actually graduated 2 years early based on his extreme intellect and cognitive aptitude. It is confirmed that after attending high school, Norm went on to study philosophy and mathematics at Carleton University for a bit until he decided to drop out. What a gyp that turned out to be. Norm also attended Algonquin's College, with the core focus being journalism and television broadcasting, similar to his brother Neil. Around this time, Norm had done several different manual labor jobs in this time at Algonquin. In 1985, Norm decided to try stand-up comedy for the very first time at Yuck Yuck's Comedy Club in Ottawa.
You ever played a lotteries? Yeah.
Man, I never played them. But you ever get a lottery ticket, somebody give it to you as a gift, like for Christmas or something? I always thought that was the weirdest gift to give somebody, a lottery ticket, you know? So here you go. Nothing. That's nothing at all there. From me to you, a worthless hunk of cardboard.
Unfortunately for Norm, he didn't feel great about his first time on stage, so much so that he actually ran out of the club and said he would never do stand-up ever again. Thankfully, the club's owner, Howard Wagman, had convinced him he had talent for the craft and that he should come back and continue to improve. After Norm continued to do spots in Ottawa and saw his stage presence and confidence continue to grow, he found himself regularly appearing at amateur nights at Yuck Yuck's Comedy Club.
So okay, now I got a lift down here because I don't know how to drive. You know, I can't drive. I got to get my license, you know. Got to get my driver's license so I can go, you know, I can have ID and stuff, you know, because I have no good ID. All my ID stinks. You need a driver's license for ID, you know, or something, a credit card or something, you know. You ever try to cash a check with that little card that comes with the wallet? They just look at you, you know?
Some of Norm's comedic influences include Bob Newhart, Sam Kinison, Rodney Dangerfield, and many more. He quickly became a local favorite because of his keen observations and his incredibly dry, sarcastic delivery. Within 6 months, he was granted the opportunity to perform at Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in 1986, located in Montreal, Quebec. Norm did so well that he was immediately contacted by the Fortune 500 company Mangrade.
100% cast iron.
I'm just kidding. Norm did so well he started to catch fire and found himself gaining publicity from the Montreal Gazette, where he was considered as one of the country's hottest comics. Eventually, as Norm continued to grow and develop as a comedian, he received an opportunity to perform as a contestant on the show Star Search.
I smoked ever since I was a kid, so it was kind of tough for me, you know. I remember once I was 8 years old, little kid, behind my garage, sneaking a cigarette back there, and my dad caught me. He hauled me in. I thought I was in for the strapping of my life, you know? What he did is he pulled out a big cigar. Must have been half the size of my arm, this giant cigar. Stuck it in my mouth, lit it up, made me smoke it. All the way through, right to the end. That's when I started smoking cigars real heavy.
And more notably, he made his late-night debut on Late Night with David Letterman.
You've seen these new sports on the TV where they'll try to combine two sports together and make up a new sport? You know, like a guy will run a 100-yard dash and then fish.
David Letterman instantly took a liking to Norm and went on the record saying if we could have, we would have had Norm on every week. David Letterman has gone on the record many times as well talking about Norm Macdonald and saying nothing short of exceptional things about him.
I love Norm, and my guess is, what I know of Norm is that he may not be working hard.
No.
But what he has is the same result as somebody who's worked hard.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, again, enviable, admirable, but God, he makes me laugh.
Letterman had also gone on to say how intelligent Norm was and how he was always the smartest guy in the room pretending to be the dumbest. However, along with these great opportunities for Norm, struck tragedy for the Macdonald family, because on October 29, 1990, Norm's father, Percy Macdonald, courageously waged a battle against heart disease that resulted in a draw. As sad as this news was for Norm, in 1992, he had to soldier on because he became a writer for the one and only season of The Dennis Miller Show. And after that, he was hired to be a writer for Roseanne Barr's show, Roseanne. He wrote for the show during the 1992 and 1993 season, and he eventually left the show to take part in one of Norm's most iconic roles in all of show business. It is undoubtedly one of the highlights of his comedic career.
Too bad that you had to get caught. That's not like you to lose face.
After many years of hard work and honing his craft of stand-up comedy, in 1993, Norm Macdonald joined the cast at NBC's Saturday Night Live, where he went on to do legendary impressions of Larry King, Burt Reynolds, David Letterman, Bob Dole, and many more. Then the following year, during the 20th season of SNL, Norm became the anchor on the satire news segment known as Weekend Update. Norm really stood out in this role because his style of humor was incredibly unpredictable, and it seemed as if there was no line he was not willing to cross. It didn't matter what the topic was either. Ellen DeGeneres being gay, prison, the Clintons. If Norm saw something funny within the topic, he would go right for the throat and he would not hold back. As mentioned earlier, Norm always had a dry and deadpan delivery within his stand-up comedy act, and there was absolutely no shortage of that in his time on Weekend Update.
Here we see the president and the first bitch. Jonathan Schmitz, the Jenny Jones guest who killed his secret gay admirer because of his fear and hatred of homosexuality, has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. Well, I guess that plan backfired, huh? And now it's time for Weekend Update's movie reviews. This week I saw Interview with the Vampire, and here's my review. Not gay enough.
To say that Norm took pride and basked in a joke not being received well by the audience would be an understatement. In fact, in some instances, it almost appeared that when the audience didn't like a joke, Norm enjoyed it even more than if they had all laughed in the first place.
O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. The crowd is torn.
If there's one word that could be used to describe Norm Macdonald on Weekend Update, I believe the most appropriate word would be fearless. Now, controversy was certainly Norm's cup of tea, but there was a string of controversial jokes that led to Norm being in hot water with Saturday Night Live management. The O.J. Simpson jokes. Norm did not shy away from jokes at the expense of alleged murderer O.J. Simpson, and it got so out of hand that Norm was supposedly told by Don Ohlmeyer, who was a friend of O.J. Simpson, to cool it with the O.J. Simpson jokes. As you can probably predict, Norm took this request and did what he does best.
Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California. Meanwhile, in Washington, Mayor Marion Barry praised the verdict as, quote, wise and just. And he called upon people of all races to please get him some crack.
It's hotly contested why Norm was fired from Saturday Night Live, but it is reasonable to assume that Don Ohlmeyer's frustration with Norm led to his firing from Weekend Update in 1997. I mean, this guy was a real jerk. However, when Norm was fired, the reason he was given was because of low ratings and for the fact that Norm, in their eyes, just simply wasn't funny enough. Norm Macdonald went on David Letterman's show and discussed this firing, and David Letterman was very vocal about how unfunny SNL had become over the years.
No, you didn't get fired.
Yeah, they fired me.
No, they didn't fire you.
No, I'm serious. I talked to a guy that said I'm fired. This guy, Don Ohlmeyer, turns out to be the president.
Yeah, now I know Don Ohlmeyer, and just between you and me, he's an idiot.
Oh. So he goes, oh yeah, I'm firing you there from the show. And then I said, oh, that's not good. You know? And then I said, why is that now? And he goes, oh, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, Lord, that's even worse news, you know?
Norm also discussed his firing on the Howard Stern show, where Howard Stern echoed a lot of the criticisms that David Letterman also said. To further support the theory that Norm was fired for the O.J. jokes, Jim Downey, a longtime writer for Saturday Night Live, was credited for writing a bulk of the O.J. jokes that Norm read on Weekend Update, and he was also fired at the same time that Norm was. Whether or not this was a coincidence is still up for discussion, but a sizable portion of comedy fans tend to lean towards the idea that Norm was canned from Weekend Update for the constant jokes about O.J. Simpson. However, Norm stayed on as a cast member for a while, and he adamantly disliked performing in the show's regular sketches. Then on February 28, 1998, performed in one final sketch before his exit from Saturday Night Live as a whole. After Norm's exit from the show, he eventually shot a movie called Dirty Work where he was the lead actor, and this was Norm's big movie. Things got extremely petty because Don Ohlmeyer ordered NBC to not air any advertisements for Dirty Work out of retaliation for Norm's appearances on the David Letterman show and the Howard Stern show because he viewed it as disparaging to their brand. Luckily, Ohlmeyer's boss at NBC, Robert Wright, took issue with this and reversed the order immediately. Norm, to say the least, was furious about Ohlmeyer's conduct towards him, calling him a liar and a thug while insisting he had no ill will towards him and that the only people who took shots at him were Stern and Letterman. After all this, The Saturday Night Live debacle had come to a halt, or so the Germans would have us believe. In October 23rd, 1999, to the surprise of everyone, Norm Macdonald was invited back to Saturday Night Live to host the show. From what you've heard about Norm thus far, I think you know where this is going. I couldn't say it better than Norm, so let me just play part of the monologue for you.
When the people here asked me to do the show, I gotta say, I felt kind of weird, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to actually be on this show, They fired me because they said that I wasn't funny, But now, this is the weird part, right? It's only a year and a half later, and now they asked me to host the show. Because a year and a half, let's face it, is not enough time for a dude to learn how to be funny. Then it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later.
This marked a legendary moment in comedy where Norm once again demonstrated his fearlessness and his ability to be cutthroat while also keeping the crowd laughing the entire time he does it. After this monologue, Norm Macdonald became infamous, and it truly felt like he was on top of the world of comedy.
So sad that you're not as smart as you thought you were in the first place.
I mentioned Dirty Work in the previous section regarding the Saturday Night Live drama, but the movie itself was a very special time for Norm in his career. Dirty Work was a film about Norm that was shot by dear friend and comedian Bob Saget, and this is one of the first movies where Norm had played a significant role. Before Dirty Work, the only other movies we had seen him in was Billy Madison and The People vs. Larry Flynt, so this movie was the turning point for Norm's career and led him to becoming the biggest movie star in all of show business, or so the Germans would have us believe. But seriously, this was an awesome movie for Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang, and it also ended up being a special moment for them because it was the last film that had featured Chris Farley, one of the funniest men who ever lived, who passed away in 1997. Dirty Work ended up being dedicated to Chris and his family. When it came to acting in movies, Norm would always say,
So anyways, he goes, I put you in the movie, man. I need a guy to... And he was going to give me a big part.
Right.
So I was like, no, don't do that. Like, I can't act. And he's like, don't worry about it. I go, seriously, Milos, I don't want you to give me a big part.
But besides that, he had always found himself being an extra in Adam Sandler's movies based on the fact that Sandler is a big believer in making movies with his friends that he finds funny, many of whom include former SNL cast members such as David Spade, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, and not to mention Norm himself. Then in 1999, Norm starred in his very own sitcom, The Norm Show, also known as Norm, for 3 seasons. The show featured Artie Lang, Laurie Metcalf, and Ian Gomez. The Norm Show also featured Norm Macdonald, where he played Norm.
But I had a TV show once, Norm. I played Norm. Now I have him on my show, The Norm Show. I played Norm.
And the character he plays is a washed-up hockey player that has a severe gambling addiction. Norm took this role very seriously and gambled for many years to perfect his craft and become the best actor he could for this role. Despite only airing 3 seasons, The Norm Show was very well received by viewers because of the sarcastic wit and dry humor displayed in typical Norm Macdonald fashion. However, the show struggled to maintain a constant viewership based on the network's decision to constantly shift the days and time slots that new episodes would air. This lack of consistency with network scheduling led to a decrease in ratings and viewership, which ultimately led to the show ending on April 6, 2001. Probably the worst tragedy to ever take place in the year 2001. Reminds me of that other tragedy.
Where they took down the towers?
Yeah, all the stories came crashing down, A lot like when we tried to write on the Norm Show. We couldn't... We try to write stories and they all come crashing down.
Despite the loss of his sitcom Norm in 2011, where he played Norm, he found his way back on TV for The Sports Show with Norm Macdonald. This show was absolutely wild in the greatest possible way. Norm used this show as a way to bring his irreverent style of comedy into the wide world of sports. If you think any of the clips I've showed you so far are out of pocket, this show was a sledgehammer of exactly that type of humor.
Hey, WNBA, I got an idea that'll sell some tickets. Shirts and skins. President Obama is a phenomenal player at basketball for a president of the United States. But I think he's just mediocre for a black guy.
Hey, what about bringing in Jackie Robinson? Only team with a black guy in it. That's not cheating?
A show including monologues, interviews, and sketch comedy, the show exemplified Norm's style of comedy perfectly: dry, razor sharp, and undeniably hilarious. The show had incredible ratings and a very dedicated fan base. However, the show only lasted one season. This decision to cancel a seemingly successful show came as a surprise to many. It must be the curse of the Doors. I must say, for an old chunk of coal, this guy had a really lucrative acting career. Norm Macdonald has 3 comedy specials: Me Doing Stand-Up, Hitler's Dog, Gossip and Trickery, and Nothing Special. Before we discuss the comedy specials, I'd like to take a brief moment, as all moments are I suppose, and I want to talk about Norm's stand-up comedy style. I'll start off by reading Louis C.K.'s description of Norm Macdonald's comedy. I first saw Norm Macdonald on stage in 1988. I was 21 years old, and he came to headline a club in Boston where I had been doing stand-up for 3 years. Me and my friends had heard about him, so I went to check him out. Within 2 minutes, I was astonished by how goddamn funny he was. Just blown away. I laughed harder that night than I had in my life. I remember my comedian friends and I just sat and talked about him for hours after the show. I went back to see him 5 times during the week he was at the club. He instantly became my favorite comedian, and in 30 years since, he's never stumbled far from that rank. Every time I see or hear Norm, he's doing something new and better than the last time. He gives me a new favorite comedy bit. The last thing is that there is not a single other comedian like him. He falls into no genre or category, just comedian. I seriously fucking love Norm Macdonald. Please buy his book. He probably needs the cash. He's really bad with money. Louis C.K. Louis really nails what makes Norm so special. When you talk about other comedians, you can usually put them into a category. When it comes to one-liner comedians, you can name Jimmy Carr, Mitch Hedberg, Anthony Jeselnik. Or if you talk about observational comedians, you can name George Carlin, Bill Hicks, Louis C.K., or Louis Black. These comedians are deemed similar because of the category their comedy falls under, but Norm Macdonald is simply an enigma. There's no other comedian that you can categorize him with. He's irreverent to the point where he basically invented his own niche of comedy, and it's a truly special thing. All 3 of Norm's specials are incredibly funny and brilliant. Today I will just be talking about Me Doing Stand-Up, undoubtedly one of the greatest comedian specials ever recorded. Norm opens this special and wastes no time before getting into material about death. He takes this incredibly grim topic and makes these observations about the way we fear our own death and how ridiculous it truly is. Within seconds, he's absolutely lighting up the crowd when the subject is something that all people find a bit troubling.
I think actually scientists should kind of look into that whole death thing because they seem to focus on diseases. And, I don't give a fuck about them because, the guy go, hey, we fixed your arthritis. And they go, I'm still going to die? They go, yeah.
He then goes on to joke about cancer.
But I'm pretty sure if the cancer dies, if you die, the cancer also dies at exactly the same time. So that, to me, is not a loss, that's a draw. That's a, you know what I mean? It's not like fucking the cancer's gonna jump up and go, I'm fucking Uncle Bert's wife. Where is he? There, Tiger Woods, you're telling me that guy, that super handsome, charismatic dude, likes to lie down with ladies? I don't buy it. I don't buy that for 1 second.
And last, but certainly not least, O.J. Simpson.
As much as I was indignant about his acquittal, I'm equally indignant about his going to prison for stealing his fucking own shirts. I don't think that's fair.
I would go into greater detail about the jokes, but I don't want to ruin it for you. I'd recommend checking the special out yourself. The entire thing is available on Spotify for audio and YouTube. Norm demonstrates his ability to tackle taboo topics with some levels of observation, sarcasm, and irreverence that he has always been known for. This type of comedy is what made him such a unique comedic voice and why he's so original in his act. If you'd like to watch the other 2 comedy specials, Nothing Special and Hitler's Dog, Gossip and Trickery, they are available on Netflix, and you will definitely love them if you're a fan of anything Norm. We took a dive on Norm's unique style of stand-up comedy. However, when getting a better understanding of Norm's sense of humor, that's only one piece of the puzzle. Another thing that makes Norm Macdonald such an enigma is the way he acted around other people. There are some hilarious stories about Norm Macdonald that will give you an insight as to what makes him laugh and how he thinks. One of my favorite stories is a story of Norm Macdonald trolling some young comedians who were opening for him. Listen to this.
And so Norm was headlining, and I think there were 3 or 4 comics who were doing 5, maybe 8-minute sets. And at that time, it was all the material they had. You know, they were new comics. And okay, I've polished off my set. I got these jokes. And now I'm going to go out with this guy who's a great headliner, and we're going to do this big corporate gig. And so at the gig, as they were starting, Norm off the top said, I'm just going to go out there and kind of warm up the crowd, you know, do a little teaser, and then you guys do your sets when I'm coming. So Norm went up and apparently did everyone else's material. Did all the, is this the story?
Oh
did
my
all
God.
their jokes. And what I loved is what I was told to me. They're like, first off, those are the only jokes we had. But the worst thing about it is Norm's jokes were better. Like our jokes were, he had 3 hours and he was going to do an hour on this show. So he was only doing it to fuck with them.
So Norm went up before his openers, stole their jokes, then they all had bad sets just for Norm to close the show and kill. On top of that, they rode in the same bus after the show. I mean, who the fuck does that? I don't know anyone else who would do that, but it's absolutely hilarious. Another hilarious story is the time Norm Macdonald hosted the YouTube Awards show with Jenny Slate and Kasim G, and just made a complete mockery of the entire thing. Here's a few of my favorite parts of it.
Joining us in the Show Before the Show living room is host of Norm Macdonald Live on YouTube, the wonderful Norm Macdonald.
Yes, and Jenny, all the stars are here.
Do you want a microphone, Norm?
Yes. Is that my tree?
What a disaster.
Jenny, all the stars are here.
It's true.
Beardy Man, Claude Racine, Dax Flame, Betty Fine,
You got it.
and Raffi Fine. All the stars
You really keep up with all that
are
stuff.
here tonight. Oh, yes. Harley Morenstein is here.
We're joined by the talented trio called the Lonely Island.
Yeah,
Who
you
will
know
be
what I
on the
call
big.
them?
What do you call them?
I call them Sandberg and the other couple of fellas.
The Mind Squad. See your face?
Oh, yeah, it's me with a huge fat fucking face.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of trouble. My doctor, he said, he's not a very nice guy. He said, open your mouth and say oink.
Yeah, you need to get better insurance, Norm.
Insurance? He was calling me a fat pig.
Well, I mean, nobody's going to disagree with him.
Oh, Kasim.
I'm sorry, Norm. I've got an acid tongue.
You do. You're an acid-tongued Arab.
Talk to him. Talk to him right now. Talk to Barf.
Listen, Barfy Man 362.
All right.
No, you cannot rape my mother with a knife.
It's the biggest show in YouTube history, and Norm Macdonald shows up in a hoodie and sweatpants in the California heat and just starts going for the head right away. Fucking hilarious. I don't know whose idea it was to have a YouTube event hosted by Norm Macdonald, but it went so badly for them it reminded me of that tragedy.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy. Oh, 9/11. Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11 again.
One of the funniest stories about Norm Macdonald is the story Jim Brewer tells when he was touring with Norm and they did a clean comedy show in Iowa. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then holy shit are you in for a treat.
We get to the gig and is packed. And they go, now listen, there's kids here and there's students and alum and the dean and all these people here. So
That's the worst.
they're like, yeah, clean. I get it. No worries. Norm goes up. I'm not even exaggerating. The first thing he says, he goes up, he goes,
It's like, I'm preparing. I'm like, this is going to launch my career. Are you kidding me? This is going to be huge. I'm going to be all...
he goes, fucking, where the fuck are we? First person to even curse, right? I went, oh shit, he cursed. And he goes, so if you're gay, would you rather be the ass guy or the dick guy? This is what he starts off with. So I go, Daryl, you gotta go see this. And he's going, and he won't stop. He's like, because if you
Undoubtedly, one of the funniest Norm Macdonald stories of all time. This is yet another display of Norm's fearlessness, and the fact that he can just lean into an embarrassing moment with such pride that would tear apart 99% of other people. Patrice O'Neal would be proud. How about the time Norm Macdonald did the roast for Bob Saget and told inoffensive jokes from an old school joke book? Norm was told by the producers on Comedy Central that he should try and be as shocking as possible and that there were no lines. So Norm, being a master of misdirection, goes up and does this.
And Cloris Leachman is here. Cloris? Cloris, if people say you're over the hill, don't believe them. Why, you'll never be over the hill, not in the car you drive. Susie Essman, of course, is famous for being a vegetarian. Hey, she may be a vegetarian, but she's still full of baloney in my book.
What an absolute madman. There's so many great Norm stories in existence, but I will only share one more, and it's my absolute favorite. One time Artie was doing a theater gig for Norm in San Francisco, and I'll just let Artie tell the story.
Norm just loves torturing people, and he does it in the most brilliant way. Right. He comes up to me and goes, listen, man, we're in fucking San Francisco. No gay shit. And I go, all right. Well, if I played San Francisco before, he goes, nah, that's like you're at a club. There's a fucking theater, man. There's critics out there. Don't fuck me, man. No gay shit. And I go, all right, fine. So I go, 20 minutes, and I have 4 seconds at that point in my life without gay stuff. So I get through the 20 minutes. I introduce Norm. Norm walks out, and I'm listening from the back. Before he says, good to be here, you're a great crowd, nice to be here, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, hey, how about that AIDS? He goes, I read all this bad shit about AIDS, but then I read that AIDS doesn't discriminate. And that's kind of nice.
I was howling laughing the first time I heard that story. It would seem that Norm has like a metal detector that allows him to sense what would make someone the most uncomfortable, and he goes right for whatever that is just to make himself laugh, and we're all just there to enjoy the ride as well. Things like this might devastate another comedian's career, but Norm uses it as a way to further build his audience around doing what he believes would be the most entertaining. It would seem Norm was trolling other people before the internet was even invented. If you think these stories are funny, I'd highly recommend checking out I'm Not Norm on YouTube. He posts all the content regarding Norm, and these stories, among many others, can be found there. Picture this. You've seen all Norm's content on TV, and you want more. You are foaming at the mouth looking for more. What if I told you there's a podcast that features Norm Macdonald and his Holocaust-denying sidekick, Adam Egget? You'd probably go down to the rope store and rickety stool store right away. Seriously though, that brings us to Norm Macdonald Live. These podcasts are hilarious. Additionally, there are episodes on Netflix titled Norm Macdonald Has a Show. However, a lot of fans of Norm claim these episodes simply do not raise a candle to the episodes that can be found on YouTube. Norm Macdonald Live is vintage Norm Macdonald with an additional element. Some fucking douchebag whose face looks like a cunt. Adam Egget, the booker of the world-famous Comedy Store, acts as Norm's sidekick in this podcast, and he takes the bullet a lot of times to allow Norm to make an incredibly funny point.
He says, I love this podcast. It was great to see Norm Macdonald back, and Super Dave was the perfect choice as first guest. Lose the douchebag.
He's talking about me.
Well, we don't know if he's talking about you.
He's clearly talking about me.
He is talking about you.
He will also be a punching bag for the guests that Norm brings on the show, and the guests on the show do not disappoint. The show usually runs the format of a regular podcast, except for towards the end of the show, Norm will pull out a stack of blue cards that all have jokes written on them, and they will read the jokes for the folks at home.
This is the section where we do jokes. Do you want to read one? Just read into that camera for the folks.
The first episode went live on March 26, 2013, with the guest being Super Dave Osborne. This episode was full of memorable moments. One of my favorite moments is when Adam asks Super Dave where he gets his ideas from.
Adam had a question he wanted to ask you about your comedy.
Yeah, I've been chomping at the bits to ask this one. I've been thinking about it all week. Norm told me to come up with some questions for you, and I've just been dying to know, where do you get your ideas from? Well, I mean...
This is a recurring bit from the Norm MacDonald Live episodes, and it's hilarious every single time. The context here is one time Norm was on Tom Green's show, and this dude asked Norm where he gets his ideas from, and Norm was simply dumbfounded by the retarded nature of that question.
Where do you get your material, your comic material? Is it through your imagination or real life situations that's happened?
That's an excellent question.
It is. It's a good one. It's almost like what what inspired you to ask that question, sir?
Well, you know, I kind of think of myself as being a comic as well. If you need some material, I can give you some right now.
I imagine there's several clips of Norm being asked this, but the Tom Green interview is the one that stuck out to me the most. As a result, Norm finds humor in this question, so now he tortures every one of his guests by feeding Adam this question and having him ask it to them.
Yeah, I've been dying to know, where do you get your ideas from? Norm.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. That's a good
No, I really, I've been watching you for years, and I've always been really curious. Where do you get your ideas from? I think it's been really a thorough interview. I always wanted to know where he got his ideas from, but I think
Never been asked that before.
Where do you get your ideas from?
Anyway, the Super Dave episode ended on a high note with Norm giving Adam and Dave some jokes to read. Upon seeing the content of the joke, Super Dave said this.
Do you understand that we're on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Even so, Norm soldiered on and read the joke that really set off Super Dave.
Some gold-plated chains would make a nice retirement gift for a very, very good slave. Well,
Are you serious?
Well, this was written...
Are you serious?
This was written years ago.
Did you just write that?
I didn't write it.
Did you just say that?
No, I read it, yes.
You read that?
It was written,
Oh
obviously.
my God almighty, I'm not part of this.
No, it was written
No,
before.
I'm not part of this. No, you can't read that.
And from there it only got worse. As I mentioned earlier, Norm seemed to have an internal metal detector that could just pick up on anything that made someone uncomfortable, and then for his own enjoyment, and sometimes the audience enjoyment, he would just lay into that topic. Another thing that made Norm's show stand out were his hilarious ad reads. The most iconic sponsorships Norm had were Man Great and Dollar Shave Club. These companies gave Norm a word track to follow, and he followed that while also making his own rendition of it.
For $1 a month, have all your shaving needs met? I mean, on your face?
Well, you can use it for anything.
Well, that's true.
Do I have to only use it on my face?
No, they have no rules here. They have no rules.
Then yeah.
Of course they have no rules. They send fucking razors to your house.
They can't be high quality razors for $1 a month.
They're the highest quality razors in the world. You can slit your wife's throat. What about the Man Great?
Is that like a genital cleanser?
No! No, my God. You can put chicken on this or steak. That's not that unique. No more dry meat. What do you think of that?
Good. You want your meat juicy.
Oh, come on now. Don't make it sound like a fucking fat, plumpy, delicious cock. There's more fucking facts about the Man Great than about Nick. Chicken, steak, has never tasted so good.
Absolutely hilarious. Every podcast has sponsors, but Norm made the ad read so absurd and off the rails that eventually he lost Man Great as a sponsor, and he didn't even fucking care.
That was our only sponsor.
Oh, yeah, and you lost.
Yeah, now we found out we lost Man Great as a sponsor. And then earlier today, I think we were told legally we can't say we lost them as a sponsor even.
Yeah, I think we were still waiting to find out if we were allowed to say that.
But anyways,
Fuck
that
it,
was
who cares?
Schwartz.
We lost him.
That was Nick Schwartzen that fucked it all up.
This, among so many other moments, just made this podcast for comedy exceptionally different, and a show I can go back to consistently and laugh my ass off. The show aired its last episode on YouTube October 3rd, 2017 with Jim Carrey, and many clips and funny moments are still circulated by Norm fan channels on YouTube to this day. So it's safe to say that Norm Macdonald Live left a mark on the world of comedy that will not be forgotten anytime soon. David Letterman and Conan O'Brien have very different styles when hosting their late-night shows, and very different personalities. One thing they have in common is their love and admiration for Norm Macdonald, and that's for a good reason. Norm has made some of the most legendary late-night appearances to ever be seen on television. Many of these moments are still talked about by comedians today. A lot of comedians briefly tell the hosts of the show what they're going to talk about when the camera is rolling. This usually consists of some bits of material they really like, or some true stories they think people would really enjoy to hear. However, Norm was often very coy to reveal what he would talk about. And then when the cameras were rolling, he would tell a completely fake story with a punchline at the end that would waste everyone's time, but by the end of it you were laughing your ass off and wanting more.
I also love Norm Macdonald because he comes on and his stories are all invented. None of them are real. They're all old farmers' daughters jokes. And he pretends he'll come on. I'll say, "What's up, Norm?" He'd be like, the other day I was walking down the road and a pirate comes up to, I'm like, "What?" Yeah, a pirate comes along and he's got 3 pigs with him. One of them is wearing a hat, one's got a pipe, and then it's just...
This was the superpower that Norm had whenever he was on a late-night show with any host, and Conan describes it in this way.
A complete waste of everybody's time that's absolutely delightful and hilarious.
He could take your time, completely waste it right before your eyes, and have you laughing all while he does it. It takes a tremendous amount of balls to waste someone's time so willy-nilly, but there's just something so electric about Norm's cadence and delivery when he's on late-night shows, not to mention the fact that he was always sharp as a tack with his sarcasm, dry delivery, and his hilariously smart-ass observations mannered in typical Norm Macdonald fashion. One of the most famous clips of Norm killing it with Conan was done on May 15th, 1997, when Norm was a guest along with Andy Richter and Courtney Thorne-Smith. Norm was always on fire, but his appearance stood out because he was going back and forth with Conan showing off his wit, and Conan continued to egg him on until Norm hit one of the greatest moments in late-night history. I'll let the clip speak for itself.
Why weren't you watching our show, pal?
Because I wasn't on it that night.
All right, no, stay. It's a Zeppelin. All right.
Are you talking about Melrose Place? No, because
You're the biggest ass I ever met. I love you for it. But what's the movie going to be called? Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
She's in it.
What about my career?
Courtney Thorne-Smith, the girl sitting to your left, is in the movie.
I'm going to go see it for Courtney.
There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
Thank God we have the internet, so this legendary moment will live on forever. Another great moment was the time Norm told the moth joke. A lot of people argue that this was Norm at his very best on Late Night with Conan, and I really can't decide what I like more. The moth joke is a simple one-liner joke that Norm turned into a horrific story of a man's life crumbling mixed with Russian names from a Dostoevsky novel. I'm not going to show you the whole clip, but I'd highly recommend you go enlighten yourself and watch the Norm Macdonald moth joke in its entirety. Norm doesn't often get sentimental in his comedy. He tries to just focus on what he thinks is funniest, but there's been a few times where he's let it show. The final comedy set on David Letterman's late night show was Norm Macdonald, because there's no person more fitting for this spot based on Dave's admiration of Norm. Then, without a shadow of a doubt, Norm absolutely destroys. Then at the end, he takes a moment to sincerely thank Dave, while also breaking down in tears because of the sheer gravity of the situation.
So anyways, I'd just like to say, I know that Mr. Letterman is not for the mawkish, and he has no truck for the sentimental, but if something is true, it is not sentimental, and I say in truth, I love you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Very funny, Norm, and thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Norm Macdonald, ladies and gentlemen. That was very sweet, Norm. Good night, everybody.
Imagine growing up with a comedy hero, doing your late night debut on his show, and then being so funny you end up becoming one of his heroes, and then being asked to do the last ever stand-up set on his show before it ends. It's enough to make a grown man cry. Any artist with the heart would sob their eyes out at an opportunity like this. It's even more sentimental when we look at it again, knowing what we know now.
Get away, get away. I watched with them.
Well, you guys knew this part was coming. On September 14th, 2021, the world of comedy was shocked and saddened to find out that Norm Macdonald had lost his life to acute leukemia. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe O.J. Simpson changed his name that quickly to acute leukemia. Norm's death is certainly the saddest thing to happen in the month of September. Alright, I'll stop. But the day I found out about this news, I was genuinely heartbroken. I don't really care about a lot of celebrity deaths, but this one was different. Many comedians shared this reaction to Norm's death.
2 weeks ago, he texted me, "How are you? What are you doing? Are you doing stand-up?" And I answered him with, much too many words. And then I didn't hear back. And then last week, I got a text, and it just said, "I love you." And I didn't say much back. I just said, "I love you, Norm." And that was my last communication with him.
But when you're telling little one-liners, you're kidding me.
No! We just found out that Norm Macdonald passed away. Oh my God. I love Norm Macdonald.
He's young, and there it goes.
I don't know what to say.
Me either. That was breaking news, but you'll know now when you listen to this when we recorded it.
Norm had been battling cancer privately for almost 10 years. He didn't tell anybody besides close friends and families because he didn't want him and his comedy to be viewed differently. And to me, that is just so damn precious. For over 30 years, Norm dedicated himself to the art of comedy and misdirecting his audience. He spent decades mastering this ability. You expect a vile and shocking joke, he gives you a silly joke. You ask him to lay off the OJ jokes, he gives you 30 of them back to back. You expect him to say something funny, and he makes a sincere and profound statement that rocks your entire world and warms your heart. Norm is a master of observation, timing, cadence, quick wit, and he used all these tools to become the greatest comedian to ever live. On top of all that, Norm is also just a deeply thoughtful human being with a heart of gold, and his energy would always light up the room. And he didn't have a fucking lighter, nothing like that, but he was just special. There's just no other way to put it. If you're sad the way I am, take this bit of advice from the man himself. Take all the love you have for Norm and his comedy and give it freely to all that you meet. Norm will look down upon each and every one of us and be proud. This has been Norm Macdonald, the greatest comedian to ever live.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I really wanted to make this video as good as it could be, and I think it turned out very well. And if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more future documentaries, that'd be awesome, because I think I will make more videos like this in the future. I just wanted to make this video to really highlight what made Norm Macdonald so special to me and what I think makes him so special to other people. I'm a young stand-up comedian, and seeing a guy like that just go up there and do what I want to do one day and make people laugh in the way that he did, make people smile the way that he did, it's just a magical thing, and nobody can take that from us. And it's just really cool to see. And like I said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, because in the beginning it was my little project, and now it belongs to you. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it. So once again, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God bless, and take care of yourselves.
The only country that really worries me is the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are history buffs or not, but...
How does Norm Macdonald tell a joke? When it comes to telling jokes, there are very few comedians who are at the caliber of Norm Macdonald. It seems like when you watch him tell a story, it very quickly turns into pure chaos, but in that chaos, a tremendous amount of humor and laughter can be found.
Hey, let me ask you this. Did you ever toss a prostitute off a bridge?
What Norm does may seem like a mystery to you, but Mark Twain details exactly what he does in the book How to Tell a Story in Others, and we will get into that in just a second. You could be watching him tell a simple one-liner joke about a moth entering a podiatrist's office. You may even know the punchline for this joke in particular, but the way Norm diverts away from the ending of the joke to give us a therapy session from the moth's perspective makes you completely forget that he's telling you a joke. He begins sharing how the moth is working a dead-end job for a terrible boss in a loveless marriage, and how his children are very sick. And by this point, he's gone so far off the deep end, you've completely forgotten about where the joke is supposed to go because of your investment in the moth's struggles. Throughout the story, every nook and cranny, Norm makes you laugh over and over again, and he hasn't even delivered the punchline yet. Then eventually, after you've eaten out of the palm of his hand for enough time, Norm throws away the punchline in a fashion where you feel like an idiot for not expecting it. How on earth did Norm pull this off so effortlessly any time he appeared on late night television? First of all, Norm Macdonald has been doing stand-up comedy for well over a decade, in some of these clips over 2 decades, so by the nature of repetition, Norm had mastered the art of his comedic delivery and his ability to tell a humorous story long before a lot of his most popular clips you've even seen on late night TV. Along with that, Norm was an avid reader who greatly appreciated the works of writers like Leo Tolstoy and Mark Twain. Mark Twain actually wrote a short novel called How to Tell a Story in Others. This is what I will be using today to help illustrate exactly how Norm Macdonald tells a joke on late night TV. When you open the book, in paragraph 2, Mark Twain says, "There are several kinds of stories, but only one difficult kind, the humorous. I will talk mainly about that one. The humorous story is American, the comic story is English, the witty story is French. The humorous story depends for its effect upon the manner of the telling, the comic story and the witty story upon the matter." Then in paragraph 3 it reads, "The humorous story may be spun out to great length and may wander around as much as it pleases and arrive nowhere in particular, but the comic and witty stories must be brief and end with a point. The humorous story bubbles gently along, the others burst." When you read this, what do you immediately think of? It almost feels like Mark Twain wrote this right after watching a Norm Macdonald joke on Conan's late night show. It emphasizes that the destination in the humorous story is not of any real significance, and that the constant setting and breaking of expectations is what makes it incredibly special and entertaining for the listeners. However, the comic story that you typically hear from friends or family members is essentially just one big build-up for an often mediocre or unsatisfying ending. Anyone can tell the comic story, but it takes a lot of practice and patience to tell the humorous story. This type of story resembles anti-humor in the capacity that the ending is sometimes anticlimactic, but I think the biggest distinction is that anti-humor is a joke told with the intention of its unfunniness being humorous, but the humorous story is mainly told while the artist just ensures that the journey is enjoyable with less of an emphasis on the ending of the joke. Mark Twain even says in the next paragraph when he writes, "The humorous story is strictly a work of art, high and delicate art, and only an artist can tell it." This is why I preface this analysis by telling you how Norm had been doing stand-up for decades before we ever heard the moth joke or heard him call his wife a battle axe. To tell any of these jokes the way Norm tells them takes many hours and many years of hard work and repetition. Mark Twain is not exaggerating when he says it is a high and delicate art that can only be told by an artist who has mastered the ability of comedic delivery and storytelling. Twain details the difference between the humorous story and comic story even more so in the next paragraph when he writes, "The humorous story is told gravely. The teller does his best to conceal the fact that he even dimly suspects that there is anything funny about it. But the teller of the comic story tells you beforehand that it is one of the funniest things he has ever heard, then tells it with eager delight and is the first person to laugh when he gets through, and sometimes if he has had good success, he is so glad and happy that he will repeat the nub of it and glance around from face to face, collecting applause, and then repeat it again. It is a pathetic thing to see. This is the difference between a joke that Norm MacDonald tells and a joke that your dad tells at a Thanksgiving dinner. When I first read this paragraph, I immediately thought of the most convoluted joke ever that Norm does on the Conan O'Brien show.
Went by the name of Jacques de Gautier. While I was scrambling to get out of high school, Jacques Zagatineau had already...
I think you just changed his last name.
Well, you know, a man grows.
He pretends there's absolutely nothing funny about the line, "a man grows," when he delivers it so subtly. This is an incredibly funny subversion, but Norm says it as if he has no idea it's about to crack the entire room up, and that's part of the beauty that Mark Twain articulates for the humorous story. Very often, of course, the rambling and disjointed humorous story finishes with a nub, point, snapper, or whatever you like to call it. Then the listener must be alert, for in many cases the teller will divert attention from the nub by dropping it in a carefully casual and indifferent way, with the pretense that he doesn't know it is a nub. Another fascinating thing about Norm's delivery is when he fools you into thinking a story or joke is done, and you quickly realize after you laugh that you're still in the setup of the joke, and that you're just trying to pay attention and see where he's going to take you next. Mark Twain also detailed someone named Artemus Ward, who commonly used this trick when he was telling a humorous story, where he would deliver a joke, and when the audience took a second to catch and they started to laugh, he looked up with this innocent surprise on his face, as if he didn't just say something hilarious. Another important part that Mark Twain highlights about the humorous story is the pause. Mark Twain says, "The pause is an exceedingly important feature in any kind of story, and a frequently recurring feature too. It is a dainty thing, and delicate and also uncertain and treacherous, for it must be exactly the right length, no more and no less, or it fails of its purpose and makes trouble. If the pause is too short, the impressive point is past, and if too long, the audience have had time to divine that a surprise is intended, and then you can't surprise them, of course." Another thing Norm is a master at is exactly that in his comedic timing, and he uses the pause as much as he can to make a funny story even funnier, as mentioned by Mark Twain in How to Tell a Story and Others. Now, I have no evidence that Norm MacDonald read this story by Mark Twain and used it as his blueprint for late-night television appearances, but I do know that Norm MacDonald was an avid reader of Mark Twain's literature and has a deep appreciation for his work. I can confidently state, though, that this short novel by Mark Twain describes in great detail what Norm MacDonald is well known for in his late-night appearances, because the format is extremely similar. I'm going to show you each of the elements we covered from the novel in a joke Norm tells on Conan titled "Norm MacDonald Tells the Most Convoluted Joke Ever."
Jacques de Gautier. Jacques Zagatineau.
I think you just changed his last name.
Well, you know, a man grows.
As I mentioned earlier, Norm setting up Jacques de Gautier's name twice and then saying it wrong as Jacques de Goutinat the third time just to slide in a silly joke sets up a sequence of expectations that are then shattered by Norm, leading to a huge laugh from the audience and Conan. Specifically, Mark Twain says, "To string incongruities and absurdities together in a wandering and sometimes purposeless way and seem innocently unaware that they are absurdities is the basis of the American art, if my position is correct." And Norm does this right here perfectly. The next part that stands out to me is when Norm MacDonald tells Conan about SeaWorld as if nobody in the world has ever heard of it.
SeaWorld there. You know how they have the SeaWorld? You know, with the different fish. You know.
I didn't know that, but okay. Yeah. Yes.
Beluga.
The SeaWorld. I've been
Sure.
there many a time.
Okay, so
Conan plays along with it, and in the meantime, the crowd is eating this part up because Norm plays it off so well that he's sincerely talking about it as if nobody knows what SeaWorld is.
So I was checking out the beluga whales and stuff, and I look over, and who do you think I see?
I hope it's that guy.
No, it was just an attendant, but...
And in the next clip here, Norm sets us up to think he's seeing Jacques de Gatineau at SeaWorld, and when Norm asks the question to set up the pause, Conan applies pressure to the pause and makes it even more powerful. Then right as the crowd quiets down, Norm delivers that it's not Jacques de Gatineau with perfect timing, and it causes the crowd and Conan to burst into laughter once again. Then, after Norm has warmed us up, he delivers the final punchline where Jacques de Gatineau is feeding baby dolphins and says to him, "I'm serving a youthful porpoise."
So he was feeding these baby dolphins, you know, and I said, "I'm ashamed of you, Jacques de Gatineau." He said, "I think I'm serving a youthful porpoise." Now, I believe that...
If there were no incongruities and absurdities in the story, this would have certainly been the shittiest comic story ever. But because Norm understands that the journey in the story is more important than the destination, he's able to deliver this corny-ass punchline and get a big laugh from it. Norm made the entire story funny and interesting to listen to, so as a result, the ending, being anticlimactic, doesn't really hurt the joke at all because it's not the landing point. When you understand the chasm of difference between a generic comic story and a beautifully delivered humorous story, you come to appreciate Norm's ability to pleasantly waste your time even more so than before. This is why Norm is held at such a high regard in his late-night appearances. This is why Conan speaks so highly of what Norm did in telling these fake stories and wasting everybody's time so highly. Telling a joke like this takes years and years of hard work, and it cannot be learned overnight unless you are simply gifted beyond measures. All in all, this is how Norm Macdonald tells a joke.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. A quick reminder that the best way that you can help this channel for 100% free is by subscribing down below so that you can see more content when it comes out in the future. I believe 99% of the people who watched my last video on Norm Macdonald were not subscribed to the channel. So let's go ahead and fix that. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourselves, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.